Hi, I'm Danelle. I work for a Parks and Recreation supplier, and I'm the marketing director, and I give Dropbox a 4 out of 5. We switched to Dropbox because we were using Box prior to Dropbox, and we weren't really having the best experience. And so we had multiple file management systems that we were using, like Hightail for photos and Box for large files, and it just seemed super complicated. And so I had used Dropbox at a previous job, and I suggested this to the team, and we switched over to it, and it's worked great for us. We can send links, we can share via links, or we can share large files. So it's super simple. The interface is simple, and we're all really pleased with it because we don't have to think about it like we did with all the other trying to manage all these other software programs or platforms, excuse me. We went with Dropbox because the interface is really simple. We can save files internally to it. I can manage my own personal workspace much easier with Dropbox, in addition to being able to share files with my coworkers, and then being able to share files with clients. And we use lots of large scale graphics files to show park renderings and playground renderings, and the ability to share with people who aren't necessarily even on Dropbox is really nice. It's super simple. They don't have to think about it. They don't have to be using the product. So we really like that aspect of it, and that's why we went with this platform. So we switched from Box to Dropbox. At least some of us did. Some of us already had Dropbox, and just making the switch was just super simple. I mean, it's right there in your file management system. You don't have to think too much about it. The interface when you go onto their website to look at your files is super simple. There was essentially, I can't even explain the onboarding process because we didn't have to have a training or any sort of formal discussions about it. It was just a really easy transition for us to use Dropbox and stop using the things that we were using before. And then I personally liked the way I was able to just integrate it into my file management system. It's just there as if it's integral to my laptop. It's just part of my desktop. So I really like that part of it, and it was really simple. I would say the only advice I would give to someone for switching to Dropbox is it can be a little bit confusing with the ability to send a link to use for a customer or a client or someone outside your organization to see the files versus sharing the files. I had a little, it seemed like sometimes I would send the link and the link wouldn't always work. But then if I would share it the other way, it seemed like there was two options for doing that, and that was a bit confusing sometimes. However, that said, that was a while back, and I think that issue has been resolved because I haven't experienced anything from anyone when I've sent them the link going forward since that point. I don't know if they changed things, but so that would be the only thing, is that it can be a little bit confusing. And sometimes if you don't want people to be able to edit a file, but you only want them to be able to see a file, I think there's a different way of doing that. And it's not always super clear to me. And I sometimes have to do both because I forget, because there's a lot going on in any given day. So that would be my only advice. I probably should have spent a little bit more time training, honestly.